What is up, Mets fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Mets'd podcast. A very, very happy episode after taking 2 of 3 from the San Diego Padres. James, how are we feeling? Feeling good, right?
Feeling great. It was a tough-fought series. 2 really good teams, probably 2 of the best teams, better teams in the entire National League.
Without a doubt.
And just 2 teams gave each other everything they had, and the Mets won 2.
It was an extension of the wild card series, right? We just got Game 6 going to Game 7 on the next one. I mean, it's good at least to see that the Mets, who've I feel like had some trouble with the Padres over the last few years. They're a good team too, the Padres, the last couple of seasons, but that they came out and they pretty much played just better baseball than them. There wasn't really any one thing I feel like that stuck out of the Padres messed up here or the Mets did something that was kind of crazy. It was just good baseball by both teams, and the Mets just came out on top.
Yeah, Mets got some decent length from the starting pitcher every single night. Nope, not a lot of walks, not a lot of hard contact entire series from San Diego Padres. Juan Soto with the big home run on Wednesday, but otherwise not. Xander hit the late one on Tuesday as well, but not a lot of loud contact. It was just 2 good baseball teams playing good baseball.
Especially because the Padres came in, I feel hot. They started the year off cold. They went to Atlanta, played really well in Atlanta. Were hitting a lot, and the offense kind of was just cold a little bit in this series. Scherzer going Game 1, Megill in Game 3, David Peterson Game 2. Like you said, they all did a really good job.
Yeah, there wasn't these games were long also, especially in terms of how long other baseball games have been this year and games not played inside Citi Field, but not a lot of sustained rallies, just not a lot of moments of real intensity. It was just really level baseball.
Which was really good to see. Like to see that, especially when the Mets come out on top in this series. It's even better. They're good baseball, and the Mets are the team that wins more games. That's how it should be.
And a big reason for this team's success last year was just rubber games themselves. Yeah. The Mets had a ton of rubber games. So it was win 1, lose 2, win 3. And the recipe continues.
That's exactly what happened. So before we get going into all these games, make sure you guys drop us a follow on all our social media at Mets'd on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Shout out to Vito. We've been pumping out content on all those. All the videos are being edited by Vito. Shout out to him. We appreciate it. If you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, whatever it is, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download, and subscribe. And if you're looking for the YouTube video, go to the New York Mets YouTube channel. We got a new thumbnail style today. We got a new thumbnail. Keep an eye out for it. It's going to have me and James' big YouTube face on there with some Mets player in the middle. I don't know what Mets player it's going to be. You got any ideas?
Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso.
Yeah, they had some good series.
Yeah, they're decent.
They had some good ones.
You guys are going to see our YouTube faces, my thumbnail faces.
Is that your first YouTube face?
Technically, it is my first YouTube face today.
Yeah, you'll learn. You'll get there.
I was kind of messing around a little bit, but I hope it came out okay.
That's what we have no clue. We will find out when I go home and I get the clip. So we'll find out. New thumbnail, though.
This is time traveling for us.
Yes, a little bit. We're talking in the future, but also in the past. Let's talk about Game 1. Max Scherzer on the bump going up against Yu Darvish. As we know, the last time we saw Max Scherzer pitch against the Padres did not really go so well. And Yu Darvish, most of the time in his career, has had our number. Not that way this time, which was awesome.
No, this was a real shift from the way the Mets have faced Darvish in the past. Overall, heading into this game, the Mets had only scored at least 4 earned runs off Yu Darvish twice. Once in 2019, which kind of barely counts. 4 earned runs 2019 is 3 earned runs every other year in the history of baseball.
Was that when he was on the Cubs?
Yes.
Was that the legendary Jason Vargas?
I believe so, yeah. That was the game,
in the clubhouse game? John's just, if there's a pause, I think we should leave it in, Vito, but John's just blowing his nose right next to the mic.
We had to wait 5 minutes for John to scarf his salad down to start, and now he's blowing his nose on the mic.
I did take a picture of him, so I can drop that in right here. John's crouching in the corner.
This is my Jordan flu game. That's what this is.
That's what this is.
We got to put you in a bubble.
That's what this is. Sorry.
That was ridiculous, but... Yeah, we're talking about, Tim Healy, Jason Vargas. That was the last time the Mets have scored at least 4 runs off Yu Darvish. Otherwise, the starts against Yu Darvish in their career, no earned runs twice, 1 earned run twice, then 2 earned runs once, and 3 earned runs once.
I also remember Yu Darvish, who statistically I don't think a very good hitter, owned the Mets at the plate as well. I think he had some big games at the plate. Padres could have used him in this one because, as we know, they got shut out.
Yes.
But, it's really nice to get to Yu Darvish. Also, really nice that we get to see him early in the season because the Padres, as we saw in the 7th inning, sent him out for that extra inning, and it didn't really seem to make sense, I feel like, from anybody who was watching the game. He wasn't struggling, but it didn't feel like he was very dominant or sharp. They sent him out for the 7th, I think, because in the World Baseball Classic, he just didn't pitch much. He didn't get much of a spring training, so they're trying to just artificially stretch him out a little bit to get ready for full season action, and it ended up biting him in the butt a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I didn't even think about that. I was out playing softball. Marc skipped softball on Monday night to watch this game instead.
Dude, dedicated to the grind of watching Mets baseball. That's what it is.
But Jeff McNeil got us on the board early in this game with a nice rope double down the line. And then in that 7th inning, when things unraveled, the bottom of the other start of the rally, I believe there was a can of walk. There was an error made, possibly.
We got the beautiful bunt by Luis Guillorme that just stayed right on the line. Do we know who the groundskeepers are here? I don't know any names.
Yes, Bill Deacon, the legend, Bill Deacon. Big Vancouver Canuck fan, Bill Deacon.
Really?
Gotta drop that in.
Crazy. Of course, you haven't really mixed in a lot of hockey recently. So
Not yet, but it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah. But shout out Bill Deacon, because whatever they did with the third baseline, it was working beautifully for the Mets with that Luis Guillorme bunt that's just sat perfectly, and then Tomas Nido with the swinging bunt that sat perfectly.
And we got to shout out Janie in social media because that picture that went out the next day of the bunt right on the chalk in the Louvre was incredible.
That was good content right there.
Really good content. And that was big for this rally because
Huge.
You never really feel that settled in the late in the game when you're only up 2. Up 5, you can put your feet up.
100%. Yeah.
And Lindor got the big double, broke it open. But I think the story in this game was Max Scherzer.
That's what everyone's eyes were on.
Kind of like realigning himself back to where we want him to be and where he always has been. 5 innings, 6 strikeouts, 1 hit, 3 walks, no earned runs. The first pitcher who started the shutout for the Mets. Only 1 hard hit ball, and it was on Jake Cronenworth out. The Padres' entire game only had 3 hard hit balls versus 10 from the Mets.
Which I feel like with Scherzer's last few starts to start the year, like there had been some hard hit baseball. So that right there already is a huge improvement. The fact that the Padres have a very, very good lineup, like in terms of the top tier of hitters.
Popcorn muscles.
Yeah, the popcorn muscles, exactly. Yeah. So, like, when you can limit Manny Machado, Juan Soto, Xander Bogaerts, Jake Cronenworth, those guys to only 3 hard hit balls in the game, you're probably doing something right.
And 0 from that big 3.
Yeah, that's huge.
Massive. But I still think that just watching this game, he also did get a lot of whiffs in this start.
Yep.
It was like he was missing bats. It felt like a little old Scherzer, but it still felt like there were many times where he either couldn't put somebody away or just didn't put the pitch exactly where he wanted it. And I do think that has been a bit of a theme for Max early in the season. I think this could be a cold weather thing. Just
it was so cold.
Command coming along in a way for Max Scherzer. It's like it's just the way last season ended, like one, he was injured, and then those last couple of bad starts, and it felt like kind of possibly a little weird, but something I'm noticing over and over again is these sliders keep just backing up on him.
A little bit, yeah.
And that's kind of like when you guys watch this on TV, it kind of just looks like a slider that stops sliding. Like you see it spinning and it'll just sit rather than move the way it always does. And that is an issue because then that pitch is going to sit there and now it's just nice and fat for the hitter. It didn't hurt him much in this game, less in this start than the last few. But it still like seems like there's just too many pitches in the middle of the zone. I went back and looked at some stats from this. 5 of 7 of the curveballs that Max Scherzer threw on Monday night were landed in the heart of the zone.
To be fair, though, Max Scherzer does use that curveball early in the count as kind of like a get me over. You're not expecting it. Let me get an early strike. So I feel like that's probably why a lot of those do end up in the heart, too.
100%. But then I look back at the last couple of years, and so far this season, he's almost 40% heart rate on that curveball. It's 37. Okay. Last year was 27, year before 23. And again, this is a very small sample. He's only thrown 37 curveballs so far this season. So, and even just dropping 5 of them in the heart of the zone this start really made that go up. So, not something like that's worrisome, but just something to keep an eye on. The fact that maybe it's like a little, it's because happening with the sliders as well. I just feel like some of them are just more in the middle of the zone. Just something to keep an eye on the command of Max Scherzer's breaking balls because that slider also is just not getting the swings and misses it got last year.
Yeah.
And again, that could be cold weather. That could be early in the season. That could, a very small sample size right now as well. Like that can even out in next 2 starts very easily. Yeah. But the whiff rate, swing strike rates are lagging a little bit, and there's a little more drop on that pitch right now. Mm-hmm. It's just moving a little more vertically than it has in the past. So, just something to watch. Really positive start overall for Max Scherzer. Clear step in the right direction, but definitely let's all keep an eye on like Max Scherzer going forward.
No, 100%. I mean, he gave us a start that we really needed. I feel like a lot of Mets fans, even though like we took the series from the Marlins, or I mean, like right now, maybe we can all take like a sigh, a deep breath, like we can let one out because I feel like a lot of people came in, especially game 1, like a little nervous, a little anxious. The last time we saw this team in Citi Field, it did not go our way. It ended pretty horribly.
Even in San Diego.
Yeah, even in San Diego. So I think, I mean, I don't want to speak for Mets fans, but I got to assume we feel a lot better after this series than we did coming into it, right?
Of course, and good for us for being the first people to support Max Scherzer last episode, a future Hall of Famer who's had 2 bad starts.
Of course.
Actually, not 1 bad start, actually. So good on us for that one.
20th shutout since the start of last season, most in baseball. Mm-hmm. That's pretty sick.
Yep, and Padres in this game played like a team that was on Sunday Night Baseball the day before.
Which I love.
Yes.
I love getting to play a team that comes off the Sunday Night Baseball game. It still blows my mind that they like do that. They give like the Sunday Night Baseball game. At least they didn't come from San Diego. They were just coming from Atlanta. So it was like a 2.5 hour flight or whatever it was. But that's got to suck to fly out like 1 o'clock in the morning, get to New York, sleep for a couple hours, and head to the stadium.
It's a weird thing that's like always been in baseball and doesn't seem like it ever will leave, that you have to take the flight right after. Like,
John's got something for us.
Yeah, I just had a question for you guys. So the flight, I think, is the reason why Nelson Cruz did not play game 1.
Really?
Older guy. He had 6 RBIs the night before.
A little tight.
opened the door for Matt Carpenter to play.
Yes.
Who's got an incredible duster.
Yeah.
As does Trent Grisham. I mean, I didn't think Trent Grisham was the duster kind of guy, and you have Steven Nagosic. So I want you guys to rank the 3 mustaches that we saw in this series.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one. Trent Grisham's honestly is the worst. Trent Grisham's is horrible.
I think
but it's the best also.
I was going to say Grisham's could be the best. I think if there was a little bit more maintenance done on the sides
it's
right
not
here.
well kept.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of what he's going for. 'Cause sometimes, like with mustaches and beards, I know from my own experience, like it's much harder to grow a mustache than a beard for me personally.
Really?
Yes.
I'm the exact opposite.
Really?
I could
It comes to
grow
mustache?
I could grow a real gross mustache
Like
right
if there
now.
was
No
ever,
beard.
If I ever would shave everything here, the beard would come in pretty instantly, and the mustache would take about a full month.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
No, I'm
It was
complete
the last thing that
opposite.
came in.
I've
Really
never
weird.
even come close to a beard. Yeah, I think I would go.
I'm Carpenter 1.
Yeah,
easy.
Carpenter I think is 1, Nagosic 2, and then Grisham 3 for me.
Yeah, I
Interesting.
I kind of like Grisham's more than Nagosic, but I want to give Nagosic the nod over Grisham for being a Met.
And I got it. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that. But I got to say, like, with Matt Carpenter, he's a tough one to beat, too, because he went to the Yankees and really was like, okay, no facial hair, which I think he
Yeah.
did have facial hair when he played with the Cardinals a little bit at times.
Yes, he did.
He's like, I'm going to rock the mustache, and he's kind of just rolled with it. Maybe he shaves it, though, because his season's not going that well as it was last year with the Yankees.
I don't think he'd go as well as last year. He was like Barry Bonds last year.
Pretty much, yeah.
It was kind of ridiculous. But yeah, interesting. Good point there. I didn't realize that on
Yeah.
Monday night.
Great stashes. Great stash. I think Grisham's is, first of all, I'm a big Trent Grisham guy. Like
He
to
really
bounce
kills
back
the
from what
Mets.
happened to him in Milwaukee. I mean, he was rage traded. That was humiliating. Doesn't even begin to describe
yeah,
it.
that like was the catalyst to getting the Nationals.
he's
to the World
back with Josh
Series.
Hader, too.
He
Oh
is.
yeah,
He is. That's a great
Interesting.
point.
Didn't realize that.
But his stash, literally on the scoreboard, and obviously it's big, and you can see everything. It almost looks like oddly photoshopped on. It's just so out of place. But I like he's going for it.
Mustaches, solid. I mean, it's a good baseball look. It's a baseball look that we've seen for a while now. Move on to game 2, though. This one didn't go our way, but like there were again good things to talk about here, and I feel like David Peterson to start with it, like good start from him.
Yeah, I think it was the best start of the season.
Definitely.
He was attacking the zone over and over again. It was kind of an interesting thing where he really dramatically changed his repertoire midway through this game. First time through the order was fastballs, 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 fastballs. And the second time he went through, significantly more sinkers and sliders. Kind of just completely switched the repertoire. So not sure if that was a field thing, not sure if that was a scouting thing, not sure if he just didn't like it the way what happened first time, just wanted to try to trick these players second time. But cool to see him like make an interesting cerebral move like that in the middle of a game. And similar to his first start of the year, his slider was his most thrown pitch in this game, which is really cool for David Peterson because that slider is his best pitch.
100%.
And we see that time and time again. The more he throws that pitch, usually the more successful he is. And that was definitely true in this game. And also very even pitch distribution, too, when it was all said and done. Lots of curveballs, lots of changeups. Everything was kind of even. Look, kept hitters on their toes.
Good pitching.
Yeah.
Good pitching. It would have been incredible pitching if it was not for future Hall of Famer Manny Machado, the 2-strike double down the line. You tip your cap.
Yeah.
He's a future Hall of Famer, one of the best third basemen to ever play the game. Like he's going to do that. Sometimes the best player is going to beat you.
For sure, especially when you see him third time through. I think they really wanted to get him through a 6th inning in this game, and
I
he was
think
pitching
it was
really
the
well.
right move to send him back out there too. 100%.
Send him back out there for sure, but then you kind of get to Manny Machado and you get to the righties there after 7 and 9. The order got on.
Yeah,
it probably could have. Yeah, something else could happen there, but you know.
C'est la vie.
What's c'est la vie?
C'est la vie.
C'est la vie.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the guy through, and also play a lot of games in a lot of days here. They're trying to get some length. But
No, 100%.
Yeah, the righty versus the lefty, third time through. But again, you tip your cap to the Hall of Famer.
And really, at the end of the day, it just was a game of missed opportunities. You kind of knew something was weird in the air when they started the game off. Bases loaded, nobody out, and then we didn't score a run. And we got a little glimpse of that today, too,
yeah,
which was a
exactly.
little bit scary. Luckily,
then-
it came through. But yeah, it was just like when you start the game like that and then you can't come through, it puts a weird feeling in the air. Granted, we weren't at the stadium for this one. We were hanging out in Brooklyn watching the game. But yeah, that was a tough first inning.
Yeah, then also you get to the 4th inning, you got 1st and 3rd, no outs.
Yeah.
Then you only scored 1 run. Pete got picked off, which
Yeah.
was that was a tough one. Lindor had the big at bat in the 8th with 2nd and 3rd, 2 guys out. And then Francisco Alvarez had the very big opportunity.
Yeah, it
in
looked
the 9th, and yeah.
looked like was trying to do a lot. I think wanted to be the hero. I like the idea of not being afraid of the challenge, but Josh Hader seemed to be like, oh, you're probably gonna swing at almost anything. I throw you up in the zone.
And Hader looks really, really back this year after.
Does he
that-
really?
Yeah, after
Okay.
that weird like thing that happened to him last summer where he just wasn't good anymore. But he looks pretty okay now again.
Yeah, there were a few tweets floating out about, we're worried about Francisco Alvarez. And I mean, quite frankly, there's only one pitcher in baseball right now with a better strikeout rate than Josh Hader. It's New Jersey's own Ron Marinaccio. So I don't like it because the Yankee thing,
Ron
but then
in
the Jersey
baseball.
thing I'm down with. But yeah, Hader's filthy. So I think that's a tip the cap.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's a young player who definitely wants to do a lot for this team, saw an opportunity to make a huge impact. Like we said, like, he wanted to play hero. It's going to happen. He's 21 years old. By no means should there be anybody freaking out about this yet. Like, he's here early. He's here before he should be, kind of thing.
So early. I mean, how old's Adley Rutschman? 25
Like
years old?
35 years old. He's like as old as John.
Yeah, he's like literally, actually almost as old as John, which is crazy because Francisco Alvarez is a pup. And you look through the first 22 plate appearances for Francisco Alvarez's career, and you see the slash line 150, 227, 200.
Yeah.
But then wait, you step back a second. That's not Francisco Alvarez. I tricked you. That was Mike Trout's first 22 plate
Really?
appearance of his career.
Oh.
So it is possible for elite prospects to come up and not be elite right away and be good.
Not to use another Yankee thing here, but Aaron Judge was horrible his first year.
Can I tell you something else that's even crazier about that comparison? Francisco Alvarez does have a 150 average and 227 on base percentage through 22 plate appearances.
Wow, that's like unbelievably.
Yes, but he has a higher slugging percentage.
I mean,
Trout didn't have a home run yet through those plate appearances.
Francisco Alvarez does.
Yes.
Compare him to Mike Trout, I like that.
Yes, so why not? And also I think there's a lot of people who we see the top prospect, we want him right now, like instant gratification.
Yes.
But that's like not at all how like player development works in baseball.
It's really hard to find, especially at the catcher position. Really hard. Like, and getting a Jordan Walker like the Cardinals have, as you can tell, it doesn't really happen often.
No, like basically once a year you get the guy who's like, oh my God. Like it was Julio.
Yeah.
And Jordan Walker, think back to a couple of years.
Tatis,
Soto.
Soto.
The guys who walk on the field, you're like, wow, this is really different.
None of them caught, by the way.
Yeah, that's the thing with catching. Like, you look on the other side of the field, even this game specifically, and you see Luis Campusano, who for years and years, 2018, 2019, 2020, was regarded as, if not the best catching prospect in baseball, one of the best catching prospects in baseball. And it's taken him actual years to get into a spot where, like, he can be functional for the major league team.
Probably had the best game of his career that
Yeah,
night.
he had 3 hard hit balls, 3 hits, and he was smashing the ball. He looked really good and physically imposing, but not saying at all that that's the expectation for Alvarez, but just saying that this doesn't happen like this. It's not MLB The Show where you keep playing games and your overall keeps getting better. Like, that's just not how it is. It's going to be up and down, good games, bad games, and it's hard when you're not in an everyday role, too.
100%. Like, I was talking to Jabari Blash, like, years ago when I met him and talking about, like, what it's like coming off the bench and, like, not having an everyday role. And he's like, it is really tough. Like, you end up being a little more aggressive than normal because you're like, I have my opportunity to show my skills off. I have the opportunity to make an impact. I want to make sure I do it, so I play more. Francisco Alvarez right now, as we know, is the backup catcher to Tomas Nido, who's going to be playing pretty much every single day. I'm sure Alvarez, like, in his head is like, what we were talking about, like, maybe chasing a little bit more, swinging a little bit more. I'm sure in his head he's like, I got an opportunity. Let me show everybody how good I am, so they have to keep playing me more.
And Alvarez is a guy who ran amazing walk rates in the minor leagues. So, like, passivity is something that is probably if he's being more passive, it means he's probably feeling better about his game right now. And it's just hard adjusting to major league pitching while also trying to catch while being 21 years old. He's 4 years younger than Adley Rutschman.
He's 21. 21. He's so young. Pump the brakes if you're one of those Mets fans. I don't think a lot of you that listen to us are. I think we've done a really good job of making sure we don't have the crazy Met fans that would say something like that. I was like, but for those of you that are out there existing and listening to us, please just easy. Take it easy. It'll be okay.
Yeah, we got time.
Game 2, we also got to see David Weathers in the stadium.
Yes.
Former Met, former like 10 different other teams.
Yeah.
But his son Ryan Weathers made the start. Looked like kind of okay. Like,
yeah, it looked okay. I mean, got that fastball up to like 96. He had a sweeper just sweeping around. Yeah. It was hard to square him up, but he also wasn't missing that many bats. Like, one of those really annoying games.
And I think they interviewed him on SNY too, David Weathers. And I'm like, he probably is like, I'd really love to just like watch my son pitch and not talk.
Like, yeah, we were watching the game and we didn't have volume, so we just saw them continue to like show him and talk to him. We're like, I wish he probably just really wants to relax.
Yeah, probably like, I'm really nervous about my son's performance right now. Please stop asking me questions. Anyway, lost that game. Again, game of missed opportunities. What it is, sometimes you lose. At the end of the day, these are 2 really good teams, like we said in game 1. Sometimes you're going to win, sometimes you're going to lose. Luckily for us, we had another game, game 3, and it was huge. We got the win. We win the series. I mean, in the stadium, felt really good. We got to go up into the press box for the first time ever. We were official boys. We got our media passes now, so we're sitting in the press box, and me and James, as they're scoring some late runs, just like quiet little fist bumps,
you can't
little
cheer
high
in the
fives
press
as he
box,
leaves me hanging here right now. I'm just dying. Yeah, there
I thought
we
you
go.
were just like mimicking it. I didn't realize you were looking for it.
Yeah, give me another one. But it was really nice to see the Mets play a very clean game, pretty good baseball all around, like good defense. They drove in runs when they needed to. The pitching was solid. Got to start with Tylor Megill, who had another really good start.
Also, I want to say, I think the shape of this game was something that we can hang our hat on as well, because in the first inning, Juan Soto hit a home run that would have gone just straight into the marina if there wasn't any kind of wall or function there.
We'll give Juan Soto some love here just for a quick second. We respect baseball. Juan Soto is one of the best that we've seen in our lifetime, which is crazy because he's 24, 23 years old. But he put a ball in a spot that, I mean, we were talking about it earlier. We have not really seen anybody else hit that area since like Adam Dunn hit it
Back in
off
the day.
off the Shea Bridge. He hit it so hard off the bridge that it bounced back onto the field basically on a fly, which is like, just to wrap your head around that idea, it bounced like 90 feet off the bridge.
I was still on the 7 train on the way here, and Howie goes, "That was a shot."
Yeah, I mean, there's no other way to explain it. He hit it really hard. Again, another one of those, you tip your cap. Juan Soto's a really good ball player. We did a great job this series with him. A great job.
And he seems to like really love playing at Citi Field. Courtesy of John right here. That was Juan Soto's 3rd home run that was at least 450 feet at Citi Field in his career.
God,
That's crazy.
that's so far.
And he's younger than Adley Rushman.
I would like to know if Keith Hernandez at the time was saying that he's not much of a power hitter during
I
the
hope
broadcast.
not. Yeah, he mentioned it the other night, and it was upsetting.
Yeah, no, Juan Soto is just one of the best players. Enough of Juan Soto, though. Let's talk about Tylor and Megill, because right after that, really settled in.
Super settled down. He didn't allow another hit after that home run until Xander Bogaerts hit a single in the 4th that tied the estimate.
Yes.
As a little sneak peek we're going to talk about in 5 minutes.
Put it at 6.
Yeah, and like this was an interesting start from Megill because he again wasn't really missing that many bats, and he didn't really seem to have a great feel for either of his breaking balls because it was all fastballs and changeups. He threw right here 14 total sliders and curveballs in this game out of 83-ish pitches that he threw, so very low based on his per game averages usually. Only 5 hard hit balls though. Got a lot of pop-ups, lots of lazy fly balls in this game. Not a lot of ground balls, something I told you guys to watch for last time. So that probably was an anomaly for Tylor and Megill, but still a good anomaly. Still worked, still happened. And he just went out there and he just pitched well.
Dude, shout out Tylor and Megill again. Like last year when our pitching went down, he came up as a guy who wasn't even supposed. He started opening day. He came in, did a great job, and he's doing it again. A guy who was sent down to start the year, essentially demoted. I'm sure that can be a little crushing for a guy who's been good at the major league level.
For sure.
Had numbers, had success. He comes right up when Justin Verlander gets injured, and he has been exactly what we need. He's been consistent, 5-6 innings every start, keeping the games close, even sometimes putting us in a position to win in those scenarios.
I would say actually all of them he has. Tyler Megill's made 3 starts and he has 3 wins. This
He's
is not
just
the wins podcast, but that's happened.
Yeah, he's been really, really good, and I feel like that's something that should be spotlighted. Is the guy really wasn't in theory supposed to be pitching these games just yet,
Not at
and
all.
he's come in, and you wouldn't have a clue if you weren't an actual Mets fan.
For sure. And again, just giving up that home run and then just holding the line, letting the Mets get back into it because Brandon Nimmo hit a double, got us a run. Then Francisco Lindor hit a nice home run right down the line. Really hugged that baby to lead off an inning.
Which is funny because right before that we were like, oh man, swing missing a little bit, and then next pitch, bang, right down the line.
I think Marc literally said, something up with his righty swing right now. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it usually does. The next pitch, he hit a home run. And then we're
jinx
like,
was
all right, cool.
real.
Yeah, great jinxing for us. We needed that one. And then Pete hit the home run after that. It's 5 home runs back from Lucas Duda for the most home runs in Citi Field history with 66, Duda having 71.
Yeah, 2 power hitting first baseman, that is for sure. And we were also watching that over section 128. We were standing up there, met your friend.
Yeah.
And I think
Shout
I
out
looked at
PJ.
you when Pete came up. I was like, how about a Pete Alonso home run right about now? And as soon as he got hit, I'm like, God, let's go.
The jinxing powers are real, but they also have to be genuine. Like, you can't force it, you can't fake it. If it happens once in a while, then it actually really did happen. But if you do too much, then you kind of lose the whole je ne sais quoi.
We forced the Francisco Alvarez one last night on my
really
Twitter,
looking
where
for
I was
that.
like, basically, I'm going to name my 3rd child Francisco if he hits a home run here. We forced it. That was not organic. That's on me, Francisco. It's not on you. But this game, we were legitimate.
And then just to clean up about how good the Mets hitters did this game, this was a massive game for Tommy Pham. We've been playing a lot of lefties, and
Plays
he's been
well
in the
when you're
lineup
in
a lot against
attendance,
them.
man.
I mean, hey, he's ready. He just keeps hitting the ball hard. One time, he hit it too hard, got around to a double play with 2 men on. But again, he keep hitting it hard. Good thing's going to happen. 3 hard hit balls, 2 hits, stole a bag, scored the run, drove another in, got a big insurance run for us in the 7th inning.
Huge.
And just having him move to the bottom of that order against lefties. Interesting that he'll hit 7th and sometimes 1st, nowhere in between. But he really just takes good at bats against them time and time again.
He's a good ball player.
I believe that RBI in the 7th was off of a righty.
Would that be off of Honeywell?
I think it was off Honeywell.
Which makes sense. And
Yes.
he's been swinging the bat really well ever since he got those contacts in. Tommy Pham seems to be somewhat back, right? The hard hit rate has been great. That's all you can really ask for.
he never left.
He never left. How happy are you about that one, James?
So happy.
That's
Yeah.
been your guy since we started this podcast, before we came with the Mets. Every offseason, you're like, Tommy Pham is
why not?
available.
He's
Let's
cheap.
bring him to Queens. And now he's here. When are you getting the Tommy Pham shirt or jersey? That's the real
I'd be
question.
down for a Tommy Pham jersey. I'm totally ready for that. He was on probably for the 50% of my fantasy baseball teams between 2015 and 2020.
Is Tommy Pham the number one guy that we haven't spoke to yet that you want to get an interview with?
Yes and no. I'm intimidated by Tommy Pham for sure.
The guy is serious.
Yeah, he's stern. The great TikTok the Mets put up Tuesday when you guys are listening to this. Ask everyone on the team their pet peeve. And Tommy Pham very sternly just said general dirtiness. So I grew up in a clean household. I was like, oof.
And that one was a great answer. And Francisco Lindor is like, man, life's good. I got no problems.
Nimmo's hair on the shower was really funny.
And Eduardo Escobar saying, what's his favorite pet or what's his least favorite pet peeve?
What is his pet peeve?
Cats.
Yeah.
He doesn't like cats. That's not really a pet peeve.
He might have just like taken that in like very literally.
What's his least favorite pet?
Yeah, what's your least favorite type of pet?
Yeah, cats don't like them.
Yeah. I mean, there's a really funny video out of the World Baseball Classic everyone should find where David Peralta basically puts Eduardo Escobar like in an armbar.
Yeah.
And they like came at him with a cat like in like their cafeteria wherever they were staying or hanging, whatever, and he's just screaming to get the cat away from him. He like spins out of it. It was really funny.
Terrified. You know, John, whenever we play like the Tigers this year, let's find out Eduardo Escobar's numbers against cats.
That's not a bad one. You guys know that he obviously played for Arizona.
Yes.
You know their mascot.
They do have a big cat mascot.
Do
oh my
really?
god,
Baxter.
It's like a.
Baxter.
Why don't they have a
He's a
snake?
bobcat or something like that.
Why don't they have a snake?
Because you can't really make a snake costume. Snakes
It's
don't
not
have arms or
kid-friendly.
legs. Snakes don't have arms or legs. How are you going to make a costume?
And what kind of kid is like mascots are for the kids? Well, who's gonna like a snake?
You can make a friendly snake,
Then
but
why'd you name the team that then? They
think-
should have been named
because they play in the desert.
to be fair, the Mets are named the Mets, and their mascot's a baseball. So I mean,
Yeah, but Metropolitans were in New York and it's a baseball head. Great.
yeah, I know. But I mean, it doesn't
Oh,
really.
happy birthday, Mr. Met. We missed his birthday this week.
course, yeah,
Happy
can't miss
birthday,
that
Mr.
one.
Met. Give it up for him.
Who's Mr. Met's father?
That's
Don't-
the question.
you can't
That's
say
the
that.
$1 million question.
can't
A
say
birthday begs the question: who are the parents? Haven't solved that mystery yet.
Oh, God damn. That was kind of funny. Also, huge game from Brandon Nimmo here.
Yes.
5 hard hit balls from Brandon Nimmo. Kind of ridiculous.
lot.
Yes, a double, 3 hits, 2 RBIs. Just really crushing the top of the order as he always does. And
the order is so
this
good.
was against a lefty. Do you remember the days a couple years ago Brandon Nimmo wasn't playing against lefties?
They refused.
Or he was moving down the order against them. Now he shows up against a lefty, one who's generally okay in Blake Snell, and says, I am going to hit you. I'm going to hit you hard.
That sentence is very funny out loud. One who's generally okay.
That's Blake Snell.
He's kind of a decent pitcher sometimes.
He's a decent pitcher once in a while, but sometimes, like today, he just doesn't throw strikes, and it's weird. He threw like 70% fastball today. Very strange.
That is weird.
Yeah.
Because isn't his slider really good?
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, okay.
Nice
I mean,
curve.
you know, thanks, Blake
Oh, yeah.
Snell. Thanks for throwing more fastballs. We appreciate it. It does some good. Last bit of hyping up the Padres here before we say anything. But it's not even hyping it up. It's just
no, it's just annoyance.
John's favorite mustache, Trent Grisham. 3 walks today. This guy, if he played against the Mets, he would be a top 5 outfielder in baseball.
It really added a lot of drama late in this game. That Trent Grisham continued to draw walks, hitting ahead of Manny Machado.
A lot of stress.
I just throw him a strike.
Yeah, please just let him hit it. When he does, he really doesn't put it anywhere.
He's like a career like 230 hitter.
That's being generous.
He's
He's
a
at
good
like
player.
160 the last
He's a good
few
player.
years.
I think he's a good player. Yeah, Marc and
First
I were
round
actually-
pick.
Yeah, we were staunchly on the Trent Grisham bandwagon before last year, and he disappointed me tremendously.
Yeah.
But however, I still think he's a good player. One I would take on my team any day of the week.
Yeah, I mean, they should give him the Taylor Ward treatment like they did in this game. Hit him in front of the 2 best hitters on your team so
Yeah.
that they have to see strikes, or he walks and he gets on.
Yeah. Also, some pretty good use of the bullpen this game.
Great use.
Brooks Raley came in the 6th inning to face Juan Soto, even though we knew there was going to be another Juan Soto plate appearance because that was only the 6th inning. And then in the 7th inning, when he came up with men on, David Robertson came in. And then again, David Robertson went through and pitched the 8th. Because in a bullpen that only has one lefty, you look at all these pitchers, like who's the next best chance to get this really talented lefty out? And it's David Robertson.
Yeah.
Because he has the up and down curveball, his cutter gets a lot of soft contact, and he is the best reliever in this bullpen right now.
100%. He's looked so good in every single appearance that he's had.
Incredible. And that was really good use of the bullpen. Very happy about that.
Really cool too, because at times like last year we would see like maybe like it's different when you have Edwin Diaz because he is like your 9th inning guy and like closer, but we saw it later in the year that like Buck was getting a little more creative of like this is really the save right now. This is really
Yes.
the 3 biggest outs that we need to get, and that's exactly what we did with Robertson today. Something that me and you, who are big fans of how the Rays run their bullpen, that's right out of the Rays playbook.
Yeah, remember the one time last year we talk about all the time still that Trevor Williams faced Juan Soto and whatever it was, the 8th or 9th inning, and that was like, no, everyone's like, it's only April. We're like, no, all the games count for 1.
Good job though.
Yeah, no, this was good. This was a really good game all around. Good team win. Tyler Megill bared down. Good work by Buck. Bats came out. Great game.
Fun little fact here, too, from Johnny Stats. 14 steals in 11 games for the Mets. They didn't steal their 14th base until the 31st game of the season last year. I think Jeff McNeil had a steal today. I don't remember the last time he stole a base.
McNeil has steal. Pham had the steal. Nimmo has even stolen a few backs.
Marte is always running.
They've been averse to stolen bases. Lindor had one the other night.
Yep. I like that they're getting a little creative on the base paths. Like it's
Cannon
nice.
might have sneaked one
He
too.
did steal one today because we thought he was out. We
Yeah,
thought on the
that was
replay
one,
that he was
yeah.
tagged out, but it was inconclusive, which means the call stands, not confirmed.
And the Padres lost their challenge. Had another pretty challengeable play later in this game. They weren't able to challenge it.
With Tomas Nioslin into third,
Yeah.
he was definitely out at third.
Yeah, but great win
Great
today.
series win.
Good day at the ballpark. 70 degrees, slight breeze, sun everywhere.
So nice.
Packed day too, even though it was a Wednesday afternoon. Really shout out the Mets faithful for getting out here for these 3 games against what's becoming a rival.
I think it was 35,000. What's the stadium hold? I don't know what the official number is.
42 officially.
42, 35,000
For a
on
day game.
on a Wednesday day game in April. That's fantastic. You think the sun was the reason, or you think there was like a little spring break action too?
I think it's both. I also do think it's the Padres. Like people
Yeah.
want to come and see this team. Like these teams said last episode, I don't think they like each other.
No, I don't think
I think
so.
the Mets
Although
really
even-
wanted to win the series.
They don't like each other, but there isn't like any animosity. It seems like on the field, like when we play those Phillies and the rat Jose Alvarado's on the mound. There's some hatred there.
Jose Alvarez striking out like 80% of the batters he's faced this season.
Don't worry about it. It's still the Phillies
Looks
bullpen.
really
They
good.
still will crumble when they have to.
Yeah, I mean hopefully, but again, we don't play them for a little while still.
Yeah, for a long time. We do have another series coming up against the Oakland A's, but before we get going into that, we got to do the estimate. The last one ended. We knew it was going to happen.
Yep.
I guess 5 total bases for Xander Bogaerts. James said 7. We literally said on the podcast, go back and watch it. It's going to be 6. And what was the number, James?
Exactly 6.
So, John, what do you got cooking up for us this time? Maybe we won't have a tie because we've now had 4 series.
Yeah.
4 series.
This will be. Yeah. Wait.
Yeah, this will be the 4th series.
Yeah,
And
was the 4th series.
It's 1-0.
Yes.
1-0.
Well, again, my Seder problems contributed to that. But that's, hey, you can't predict baseball. Just like Alexis Diaz last year hasn't pitched in a series. It's null and void. We can all agree. I like that. There's no controversy. We move on. The Mets headed to Oakland. Things not going well for Oakland right now.
No.
I think it's fair to say.
That's a blanket statement.
I don't want to pile on. But their run differential right now on the season, to this point, we're recording obviously after the final out of Wednesday's game, minus 53. Wow. And it's 12 runs worse than the second worst in baseball.
God.
It's not good. It's not what you want, to quote Joe Girardi. So I feel like with this estimate, there's much more variation, and hopefully we can avoid a tie. That's what we seek to do. We want results. I want James to shave. I want to see the mustache not come in.
I don't know why I would ever wager that. Like, I don't even know what Marc could wager that's equal.
Yeah, I don't really know.
I've had this beard since I was 18.
So you haven't seen your chin.
Come on.
No,
in 10 years.
A lot
almost.
of friends, legit friends I have in my life, have never seen me without it. Some of my best friends ever.
We got to figure out something.
coming.
Maybe
It's
on
coming.
my side.
I just don't really want to.
That's
I don't-
fair.
I did this. This has been a life-changing week for me. So I actually did
Kick a man while he's down.
Yeah, I did actually have the thought, like, why not just like whatever? Because I always thought like if I was gonna shave, it was gonna be when I grew my hair out. And I finally have grown my hair out to a place where like it's long, I'm comfortable with it. So maybe.
How long would it take for you to grow it back? The beard.
3 weeks.
Okay.
That's not
Yeah.
that bad.
The only thing I'm concerned about is what would probably be like a ridiculous tan line on my face.
Oh, insane.
It's been years since this face has seen actual sun. So like, and the whole reason I did start shaving, or not stop shaving originally, is because it was just like sensitive. Like shaving's annoying. It takes
Yeah.
time.
It is.
And it's like I would
expensive.
get like these red bumps. I'm like, this is awful. Like there's no reason for this at all.
yeah, can't relate.
Yeah. No,
What if we
relate
took
at
you
all.
for a professional shave, like a nice close shave? They give you the towel with the real blade. We
Okay.
film it, a little content.
But then like what is the other side of that? It's like James gets shaved. Like who would watch that?
I don't know.
What's the bet?
Viewers at home, you tell us. Would you watch it? I think I would.
What's even for that? Like Marc has to grow a bad beard and keep it for a month.
I'll do a mustache. I'll just do a just straight up mustache.
But that's not bad at all.
It's not gonna look good.
No, it's bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's
I don't know.
bad.
It's
If I just
definitely
rock-
not equal. You have to keep it then for 6 months.
That's so long.
That's half.
so
That's
long.
like an off season and then some.
Yeah, 4 months.
I think however long it would take for you to grow back a beard is how long I'd have to keep a full mustache.
Yeah, but we don't know what the aftermath's gonna look like here.
We'll find out. I mean, just don't lose and you don't have to
I
worry.
guess that's
Yeah.
true. Well, that's not absolutely not agreeing to this.
Okay, not agreed to. Maybe the full uniform is the first half. Maybe the second half is we'll get back to the facial
Yeah.
hair thing. But what are we doing, John? I forgot.
Yes, we are going to go with, for this series upcoming in Oakland,
Yeah.
the Mets run differential. What will the run differential be? We're obviously assuming the Mets are on the positive side. So where will it land across the 3 games?
All right, let's try and figure this one out here.
This is big because now we're also kind of predicting whether or not we think it's going to be a sweep or 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
because that dramatically changes this number.
For sure. No, without a doubt. I mean, listen, you got to crunch the numbers.
I like the one we did last year. The foul territory foul outs. That was a good one.
The over-under O'Neal Cruz will recover soon from his fractured ankle. The over-under his fastest throw to first base.
That was a good one, too. That was a good one. Well, we always try to push the needle here on Mets'd Up when it comes to the estimate.
We try to not give John many compliments on this show, but that was really good thinking.
Yeah. I think that's like the one for the next month and a half.
3 games, right?
It is 3 games, correct.
Yeah, I got a number I like.
Couple ex-Yankees pitching for the Athletics in this series.
God, no, I can't do that number now. I didn't like the way I drew it. It's as if I never.
Penmanship counts. Penmanship counts.
Yeah, I like my number. All right, we're ready to
Both
roll.
ready to show it?
Give me a second.
Okay.
James is thinking. He's pondering.
I am pondering.
This is big. You might shave his beard for this one.
That's not true.
I really want to see it. Yeah. I've been begging for
bizarre.
like 9 months now.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's just like an itch I need to scratch. I just like really want to see you without a beard. I can't explain it.
Yeah, John's had a couple itches he had to scratch this week. Oh, I got the dead marker again, but I'm really shading it in.
You have a whole bag of markers there.
I know, but I just grabbed one. I'm not going to grab another one now. We're doing it. All right, ready to go?
You guys ready to show it?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
10.
11.
11 was one of the first numbers
Really?
I wrote. And then I said 3-game series. Then I wrote 9, which
Wow.
is crazy because we would have had an opportunity for 10 again.
Yeah. You know what's weird, though? Last year, I feel like I was always the guy under, and you were always the guy over.
I know. This is very
We
strange.
flopped.
10 for your boy, Mark.
11 for James.
All right.
Can't have a
So
tie.
we know
Can't have a
someone is
tie.
going to win.
Yes, someone's
Unless
gonna win this
somehow
one.
they introduce half runs.
It's possible.
possible.
Change a lot of rules.
I mean, Oakland, anything can happen in that stadium. We could have done total attendance, too.
Yeah, we've done that one before. I like it.
Yeah.
I like the new thinking. But we're going to preview the series a little bit because we don't see the Oakland A's very often. We did see him at the end of last year, which was also
Unfortunately.
very weird that, again, we're playing a series with a team that we played towards the end of last season.
Yeah, I mean, the schedule makers at Major League Baseball, the new computer or whatever that they use, is just
bizarre.
spitting out some wild schedules.
Yeah. Going to be cool to see some familiar faces on this A's team. Yuri's Familia and
Miss you, bud.
legit friend of the podcast, Trevor May.
Got a little story about Trevor May. I think I could share it now.
Do it.
After they got knocked out in the postseason last year, I woke up in the morning to a DM from Trevor May apologizing that the team did not perform well enough and that they got knocked out of the playoffs. I could not believe waking. I think I texted everybody. I was like, Trevor May just apologized for losing. He didn't even do anything
To
wrong.
you.
Yeah, to me personally, he's like, Mark, I'm sorry we lost.
Yeah.
I know this meant a lot for the team. So Trevor May always got a special place for me. Really nice dude. Hope he does well, except in this series.
Yeah, not now. I'd like to score 12 runs off him, but Trevor
Great.
May's a great guy.
Yeah, and I think he's looked pretty good so far this year with the A's.
He has looked just pretty good. I mean, this A's team is objectively they're lacking in many areas.
Yeah, I mean,
the
well,
best way to say that.
Want to tell the viewers about our fun little stake bet that we have?
Yeah, okay, so this is a fun one. Mark and I and our group of friends, we just like to kind of get after each other a little bit. So we've made a lot of bets with each other over the years, and we kind of hit a point beginning of last year. It was actually, you know what it was? It was the Scherzer night.
Yes.
The first stake bet that was ever made, where we're like, why are we taking our money from our friends? Like, let's do things with our friends. So we started betting like nice steak dinners. So it happens like twice a year. Anyone will make a bet in the group, and whoever loses, you have to buy the winner a steak dinner, sides, and anyone who shows up, they have to pay their own steak, but the loser buys everybody a round of drinks.
Yeah.
It's a steak
and
bet.
They've been great so far. Highly recommended if you're able to. Do steak
Yes.
bets with your friends. So me and James have a steak bet this year of who will win more games, the Oakland A's or the Washington Nationals. I've got the Nationals. You've got the A's.
Yep.
I'm double rooting for the Mets this series.
Yeah, I built it into my projections for the A's to lose all 3 of these games.
course.
So we're not really worried about it. But the A's team, you're going to look at this team and be like, what the heck's going on there? Because you're going to see like guys who are like these prospects trying to come up, make a name for themselves. Shane Langoliers, catcher they got from the Braves, fantastic. Asturias Ruiz, people are kind of split on him, but he's really, really, really fast.
I know he's going to do something this series.
Yeah,
I know
weird.
it. Like, because he's someone that I have like. I've had some comments about him about the acumen of player he is.
Yeah.
So I know he's going to come back to haunt me at least once.
There is a skill set there. I don't know if he's going to be
fast.
successful for a long time. And he's pretty good at getting on base. Like,
Yeah.
he does take some pitches. But then you look, you're like, why is Jesus Aguilar hitting third?
Yeah.
Why is Tony Kemp hitting leadoff? Like, you're going to be like,
Why is Ledmus Diaz hitting fourth?
Yeah, like it's a very strange team. Jace Peterson still puttering around out there.
Matt Killer,
Yeah.
Jace Peterson.
Ryan Noda, who's annoying. From last year, Matt Killer Connor Capel's definitely going to get some ABs.
From the Nationals?
No, he on the A's last year.
Was he on the? I thought he was on the Nationals last year.
Last year, he was on the A's for that series. He had a big one off the ground.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
That's where it is.
But just we're not going to see Seth Brown, who probably is objectively their best player. Maybe
Best hitter, at least. Like
Yeah,
Ramon Laureano is probably their best
Oh, I
player
forgot
still.
about Laureano's a really good player. Still.
He's definitely their best player, but Seth Brown is probably the best pure hitter on that team, and he's out, so we won't see him.
Ramon Laureano is also really cool because he speaks very candidly about not wanting to be in this team anymore. Like, it's all like, I get it. Like, no one's there. His stadium is kind of getting run down at this point, and the rest of the roster around him is kind of lacking. So he's like, yeah, I'd really love to play well enough to get traded.
Have you ever been to the Oakland Stadium?
No.
Any of you guys ever been to the Oakland Stadium?
I have not, but I do have a hilarious nugget for you guys. You mentioned Trevor May just now.
Yes.
He's the only Athletics pitcher with a win.
Wow. Shout out Trevor May. Hopefully,
2 win mentions, wins podcast now.
Hopefully it stays that way.
They have 2 wins.
They have 2 wins, and he has won them both.
Oh my God.
He's been the winning
Good for
pitcher in both
Trevor.
Good for
games.
Trevor.
Good for
Yeah.
Trevor.
Glad to hear him.
Love that.
He's not in arbitration anymore, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, yeah. He now I think he's actually now the highest paid player on that team.
Oh yeah, 100%. When I spoke to him, he's like, I think he said he's the highest paid player, which is crazy for him. And then he also said something that I think his major league experience is more than all their bullpen arms combined at the time that we spoke.
Interesting, because Danny is Jimenez or Jimenez?
Jimenez probably.
All right, he feel like he's been around a while.
Yeah, I don't know if he was on when he told me
Okay,
this.
yeah.
They have Jerry's. Familia's on the Athletics.
Yeah.
Jerry's
Also,
Familiar wasn't on the team when
Yeah.
he said this
Yeah.
comment. This was back in spring training.
They filled it out a little bit.
A little bit,
The A's made some winning moves toward the end of free agency. But pitching matchups this series, we got Senga going up against James Kaprielian Friday night. Carlos Carrasco against Shintaro Fujinami on Saturday. We were hoping for Senga versus Fujinami, not getting it, but I digress. And then Max Scherzer on Sunday against JP Sears.
So talk to me about these pitchers, because Fujinami's probably the name that everyone definitely is most interested in out of these 3. And I know that he has like some stuff, right? Like me and you were talking about it maybe on Monday, right? When we were here about how Fujinami was kind of like the hyped up guy.
He was.
Originally.
Majorly.
And like him and Senga kind of flip spots a little bit.
Not even flip boss, but like a lot has been made about Roki Sasaki these last few months, coming from just watching the World Baseball Classic and how he's the phenom, he's unbelievable. But Shintaro Fujinami had a little bit of that allure going back like 4 or 5 years in Japan. And he came over, the stuff is incredible. He throws really hard, fastball, slider, splitter. He started mixing a new sweeper. He also went to Driveline, I believe, this offseason with Kodai Senga. He might have been learning that sweeper in tandem together, but the stuff's amazing. He just does not know where the ball's going.
Okay.
His future is probably best served as a high leverage reliever, because he'll be able to get near or at triple digits with a really good splitter and a pretty good slider. But right now, they're just like, why not let him try starting? And it's not going great right now, but you're going to see some pitches be like, oh, that's really good looking.
They're doing an interesting thing too. He will only pitch Saturdays. They're keeping him on a Saturday schedule for pitching.
Kind of dig it.
Yeah, Shintaro Fujinami. That's the fun pitching name to keep an eye out for. Otherwise, they are the Oakland A's. They are the worst team in baseball, I think we could say, or at least one of the worst teams in baseball.
One of the 2 worst teams in baseball.
Yeah.
Also, JP Sears, I don't think he's bad. I think that was a good piece they got from the Yankees last year in the Frankie Montas trade, along with Ken Waldichuk. He's got a good fastball that's above average, above league average velocity. He's got good movement on it. It's kind of about league average.
They just have all the Yankee rejects. Kaprielian's a Yankee guy too.
Yeah, he is. And Kaprielian's also like not awful. Like he's fine. He's a major league pitcher.
Yeah, they have major league-ish players. You know?
These are guys. These are all major league-ish players.
Yeah.
And Sears has a sweeper that looks pretty good.
100%. But end of the day, Mets should win this series. Mets should win this series pretty easily.
And by the run differential of at least 11.
Yeah, or 10.
Yeah.
10's good too. You know what? I'm happy to lose this one as long as it's positive for the Mets.
Yes. Mets sweep.
Mets sweep will be good. That's pretty much it for this episode, right? Nothing else to talk about here.
Good series.
We will be back on the Zoom episodes for the next few as they are away. James is making a little California trip.
Yeah, I'm going to be at least one of the games in Los Angeles. Very excited. Never been to that park.
Bring stickers. Maybe we can get some out in California for the people.
I'll pack 'em tonight.
If you see James at Dodger Stadium, he's going to have some stickers for you. Make sure you hound him for him.
Yeah, hound him. Tweet me, anything. Just Instagram DM.
But guys, thank you so much for listening and watching today's episode. If you like what you see, make sure you follow us on all our social media at Mets'd on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Subscribe to the New York Mets YouTube channel if you want to watch the video version. And if you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, whatever it is, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download the podcast, and make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the Mets'd Up Podcast. Peace out.
Peace out. See you guys next time.